Okay, so what we're doing today, we're working on Charlie's car. This is one of the viewers for the channel. He lives about an hour away from me, a little over an hour. And he brought this down to me, having transmission issues. I made a video on this car before, last week I believe. Transmission issues, didn't want to shift when it was cold. It was shifting rough. And he had the transmission serviced a while back. I don't know how long ago, a year or two maybe. Just taking a guess. By a shop. And yeah. So what we're going to do today, we're going to go ahead and do the filter kit. Well, they got taped in the box. The filter kit came in, and the 1-2 solenoid and the 3-4 solenoid. And then we're going to go ahead and put our Dextron. I'm going to use our Valvoline Max Life multi-vehicle. You can buy this at Walmart. A lot of you just hate when I say buy your transmission fluid at Walmart. Just triggers into some kind of seizure. But this is locally the best you can get for BMW stuff. And it has to say multi-vehicle. If you get the stuff that does not say multi-vehicle, that is like American Chevy Dextron, and you don't want that in this, because what that's going to do is probably do what it did to this. We're thinking that's what they put in it. It'll make for some very odd shifting. Consistency of the American version is a lot thinner, and these cars like thicker fluid. They just do. So we're gonna go ahead and change this, put all the stuff in it. I guess first things first, so we're gonna have to have between 6 and 7 quarts on hand. I can't remember, 6 to 8 quarts. You need 2 jugs. These are gallon a piece. These are $17. So you need 2 jugs of that. The filter, I'll put links in the Amazon store. I think the links are already in there. These were, I don't remember. To be honest with you, I don't remember. $50-some. I found them for 40 on eBay, but then they didn't have. Time I went to buy them, they were no longer there. It's like 58 bucks, 54 bucks for 2 of these, and this was 20. I don't remember. There's so much going here, I can't always remember. $21 ish. I don't care much for these paper gaskets. Well, these actually aren't paper. They just look like they're paper. It's actually like a rubbery material. Duraprene. So yeah, that should work fine. We're gonna use gasket sealer on it probably. I don't think we'll have to take this smaller pan off. If it's leaking, we'll go ahead and replace it. If they just did the service, they probably just replaced this not too long ago. So we'll take a look, see what's happening as of right now. So that's 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. We're almost $100 in this with the solenoids. I really don't think that's that bad. Transmission shop to do the solenoids and everything, man, oh man. I couldn't. Well, they won't do it, first of all, more likely. But if they did, they're not going to charge you 25 bucks a piece for them. That's for damn sure. We're going to get the whole car jacked up, front and rear. We have our Harbor Freight jack. It's nice and goes up really tall, 24 or 25 inches. We're going to get this whole car off the ground big time, front and rear, so you can easily get underneath of it. It won't take me long to do that. Now, we're going to do that today. Hopefully that fixes the shifting problem. There's never any guarantees, but that should fix it. It's fixed it in these cars in the past. This GM 4L30E is these 4-speeds. This is a 98 528. So if you have up to a 1998 E36 or E39 is going to have this transmission with the two transmission pans. That being said, this car needs some headlight work, as you can see. We're gonna probably tomorrow we're gonna pull the front bumper off. He bought a brand new electric fan to put on it. We're gonna hook that up, make sure that has good power, make sure all that's good. A little bit of a rough cold start this morning, so we still need to check the IAC, the auto control valve. We need to check the coil packs and stuff. Just kind of give everything a once over, and this thing should be good to go. The only thing that might hang us up on it, I don't know the history of the crank sensor and the cam sensor on these. That could also make for some weird starts. If that's bad, to order new ones of those. But it's not difficult to put those in. We just need to get them here. I didn't want to drive the car anymore to diagnose that until we get this done first, because it's shifting really bad, if it shifts at all. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so we got the car jacked up about 2 foot off the ground, as high as our Harbor Freight jack will go, which is 24, 25 inches. Got a real easy access under it here. Let me see. So we just drained it. And yeah, I did take the light off the wall. I did take it off the wall and put it under the car. It's like, well, who cares, right? Sick of there being no light. It's like 20 bucks. If we run it, we run it. So we have a 19 drain plug right there. We just use a 19 wrench, busted it loose. We have a 17 fill plug up here. Always make sure you can bust the fill plug loose first. That way you don't want to drain it and you can't get it out, blah, blah, blah. We just drained it. We just used our little funnel stuck in the top of a empty 5-quart jug. This is a good way to measure how much is in here. Now there should be, I think it's around 7 quarts. There's gonna be a little more come out when we take the pan off and take the filter off. Once we pull the filter out, some more is gonna come out, so always be aware of that. We have our cookie sheet under here, so in case it's spilling like we did, it's not a big deal. But all that being said, this is what we just drained out of it, and you can see the line is right there. We drained about 2 1/4 quarts out of it. We should have had at least 5 come out of it right now. So it's just another case, and we see this all the time. It's so common. When you do the fill procedure is, or how I do it, is with the car off, I'll fill it up with the pump until it starts coming out this hole. As it's dripping, then I'll go in and start the car up with the idling. I'll finish filling it till it comes out of this hole. Now, if you don't have the whole car jacked up at that point, you can gently drive around the block, let it shift through all the gears, come back, and it's going to take 1 more quart. What most shops do, even transmission shops, see this all the time, and it's such a common mistake, it's crazy. They'll fill it up with the car off until it comes out the hole, put the plug in it, and that's it. That's what that is. That's how much that is. So when the car shifts real hard and all stupid and he kicks out of gear, that's what causes that deal. Now we have probably a little more than 1/2 quart in that pan right now too. So let's say we have 3. At the best case, we have 3 quarts right now. So maybe, let's say there might be 3.5 time we pull the filter out. Okay, we're supposed to have 6 to 7. At 1 quart low, this transmission will kick out of gear, not want to shift, bang real hard when it shifts, do all kinds of bizarre stuff. Now the next thing is, I don't know what kind of fluid they put in this, but that is not what's supposed to go in that. It smells freaking weird. Very weird. Unlike Dextron, unlike anything I've ever smelled, it barely even has a smell to it. It smells more like brake fluid than it does transmission fluid. So let's go and get our little impact. We're going to zip out all these tins, and we'll get the pan down, and maybe we'll try to take the bolts out of the filter, hold the pan up there, pull the filter out so all the fluid falls in the pan. We'll see how it goes here. Okay, so here we are. We just poured that in there. The pan actually looks really good.
But it looks like we have, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 3.5 on the dot. Let's say we got 4. If we pull a little pan, we're gonna have 4. But the magnet and everything looks really good. There's not a lot of goo on it. I mean, there's normal amount. Actually, it looks really good. Tiny little bits in the pan. It's not metal, it's just dirt. And yeah, so let's go ahead and we're gonna clean this pan out. The gasket's still immaculate. We may or may not reuse that, we'll see. And then we'll adjust the band, put the solenoids in, do all that stuff. Can you guys see? I think you can. So what we're gonna do here, we're gonna adjust the band. I'll put some rubber gloves on. I'm gonna get a 1/4" drive torque wrench. You don't have to have a 1/4" drive. My 1/4" drive is the only thing that actually reads inch pounds. And we're gonna do, or what we've already done here, we've already removed all 4 of these bolts that hold the cover onto the band adjustment. And we're just gonna there we are. Not exactly what we're going for, but it works, right? Okay, so right here is our band adjustment. We have a nut. Remember, I had the 13. It is not a 13. Okay, so it's a 14 to break the nut loose. And this one has nasty. This one has a locking nut. This has a Torx bit in the center. Make sure it was an Allen key. And then it has a 13 mil thing you're gonna have to hold right here, right? So what we're gonna do, we're gonna get our torque wrench, which is right here. We're gonna get a Torx bit to fit this. That's too, I can tell by looking at it, that's too big. And that is going to be a T30 Torx bit. So we're going to put this on the torque wrench. We've already got the torque wrench set at 40 inch-pounds, which is about 3.3 foot-pounds. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and run this in until it stops with our fingers. Just until it snugs up. Everything is so greasy. Okay. Then we're going to put this on here. We're going to put our 13 on here. And we're going to hold that. And we're going to torque this down to our 40 inch-pounds. Right there. Now that's 40 inch-pounds. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to flip the little lever and we're going to back it up 4 turns. So we'll look where the T30 is written on the handle or on the bit, or back it up 4 turns while holding that other nut. And right there is 4. 4 on the dot. We're going to remove that and get our 14. We're going to spin our nut back in. And by holding that inner, we're going to snug this up really good. I'm not so sure it matters what the torque is on that. I just put it back on there about what we took it off. I gotta make sure want to make real sure you do not tighten up against the other wrench. No, we didn't. So we're good on that. And there's your band adjustment. So what we're going to do now is we're going to wipe this off. Okay, so we got that reinstalled. Here we got the solenoids. We just unplugged them. There's a little latch you flip up on each one and it's unplugged. So those are undone. Let's go ahead and get up here and get these pins out. And we should be able to just grab it. We have some cutters like this. You can use kind of whatever you want, whatever works. But they're just roll pins, so they're just kind of pressed in there. We're just going to grab it and hopefully roll it out of there. Good Lord. There it is, second one. What a freaking fiasco. What a fiasco.
Okay, so hopefully you can see that. But they're held in by these little roll pins. And you can see the end squished flat on that one. You have to use the cutters to grab them. You can't get a pair of pliers to grab them tight enough. And then I was sticking a wrench under there to give us more leverage to roll it out. So here's both of them right here. Let me grab the new ones. Okay, here's the two new ones right here. These other ones are kind of yellow looking. They are the same ones, which is good. It does not matter which side goes to which. They're both the same part number. And I guess the only thing left, put a little bit of tranny fluid on the O-rings before you push them in. But basically we're going to put them in and we'll take a wrench or something against that little pan and pop them in place. Once they're both popped in place, we'll drive both the pins back in. At that point we're going to clean the old transmission, clean the transmission pan out, any sediment at the bottom, wipe it out, wipe the magnet off. Then we're going to reinstall it. And then we'll do the fill procedure.
Okay, so hopefully you can see me, hopefully you can hear me. We put a little over 4 quarts in. Trying to block so I can see the damn screen. A little over 4 quarts in, about 4.5. We just started the car. At 4.5, it was starting to drip out the hole. So we're going to fill it up until it drips out the hole again. And then we're going to put the plug in. We're going to put the car in drive on the jack stands, let it go through all or most of the gears, and see what happens here.
Okay, so when I drove the car drives pretty good. The very first time I took off, it still shifted a little bit hard. Then as I drove it, it kind of cleared up. Won't know until just some miles are going to tell that story. Now, here's our fluid situation. I want to show you what's going on here. So this is, I don't know if you can see this or not. This is everything I took out. You can see the level is right there. All right, so 1, 2, 3, not quite 4, about 3.5 quarts is what we got out of it. And here we use a whole 5-gallon jug to put back in. We use 2 quarts, roughly 2 quarts out of this, and there's about 1/4 of a quart in there. So we used about 6 and 3/4 quart, and we took 3 1/2 out. So when we're refilling it, we had almost 4 quarts, or a little over 4 quarts in it before we had to start it before it was running out. So that's what it was. I mean, they basically filled it, did not have it running when they filled it. So I don't know. I mean, at this point, we're just trying to guess how it's going to be in the long run. I don't know what extensive damage I could have done to the transmission. It's kind of doing some bizarre stuff when it came in here. I have not seen a BMW do before. So I don't know. Hopefully it's okay. Now, that car, we have to put the new fan on it. I noticed when we cold started it, there's a little bit of blue smoke coming out of it. And it could be getting a bad PCV or CCV. I don't know. I noticed the control arms, the thrust arms on that car are terrible too. I need to call him here in a little bit, see how far he wants to go with it. E39, you guys know, 148,000 miles. You could sink a bunch of money in that car and never have it 100%. I don't know what he's looking for out of that. But at any rate, the transmission, solenoid, filter, fluid change is done. That's all for today's video. We'll see you guys later.